Have you ever pulled frozen tomatoes out of your freezer only to find a soft, watery mess? It's disappointing. You wanted rich, red flavor for your pasta, not a soggy surprise. But what if I told you there's a simple way to freeze tomatoes without losing their texture, color, or taste? Let's fix that, once and for all. Yes, you can freeze tomatoes, but there's a catch. Most people just toss them into a bag and call it a day. And that's exactly why they end up mushy. When you freeze tomatoes without preparing them first, the excess water inside breaks the cell walls. So when they thaw, all that liquid escapes, leaving you with a soggy mess instead of rich, juicy flavor. The secret to keeping tomatoes fresh is simple. Remove what ruins their texture before freezing, and give them a little breathing room inside your freezer. When you handle them gently, dry them well, and freeze them separately, the result is totally different. Firm, bright, and full of flavor. By freezing them the right way, you actually lock in their natural sweetness and beautiful color. No more soggy surprises, just the same rich tomato taste, ready for sauces, soups, and stews anytime you need it. But before we start freezing, let's take a closer look at what happens before they go in. Because the real magic happens in the preparation stage, and it's easier than you think. Tomatoes are at their best in summer, bright, sweet, and full of that garden fresh flavor we all love. But when the season ends, they quickly go soft, and most of them end up in the trash. It's a small, quiet kind of waste that happens in every kitchen. A fruit that once looked perfect now, forgotten in a corner bowl. Freezing them properly means you can keep that summer flavor all year long. It saves money, reduces waste, and lets you enjoy real, homemade taste even in the middle of winter. Just open your freezer and there it is. The color, the flavor, and the freshness of a sunny day waiting for you. If you love meal prepping or cooking simple family meals, freezing tomatoes is a real game changer. You can make soups, sauces, or stews anytime. No more rushing to the store or worrying about spoiled produce. And the best part, you'll always have real ingredients ready when you need them, saving you time, energy, and a little frustration on busy days. Learning how to freeze tomatoes the right way isn't just a kitchen trick. It's a small, smart habit that makes your cooking and your life a little easier. Before freezing, preparation is everything. A few small steps make the difference between a perfect tomato and a mushy one. So let's start fresh. Literally. First, rinse your tomatoes gently under cool water to remove any dirt or dust. Take your time and handle them softly. You don't want to break the skin before freezing. Clean tomatoes always freeze better and taste better later. Next, dry them completely using a clean kitchen towel or paper towel. Moisture is your biggest enemy here. Any leftover water will turn into ice crystals that damage the texture once they thaw. The goal is a tomato that feels dry to the touch, smooth and firm. If you want to go one step further, remove the stems and make a small cut at the bottom of each tomato. This little X will make peeling them much easier later on. It's especially useful if you plan to use them for sauces or soups. For an extra smooth result, you can also blanch the tomatoes for 10 to 15 seconds in boiling water, just enough to loosen the skin without cooking the inside. Then let them cool and dry again. Once they feel firm, dry, and bright, your tomatoes are perfectly ready for the freezing tray. Now that your tomatoes are clean, dry, and ready, it's time for the freezing step. This is where most people go wrong, but don't worry. It's actually very simple if you follow a few easy steps. Start by slicing your tomatoes in half, or into thick slices if you prefer. Cutting them helps them freeze faster and evenly, without trapping excess moisture inside. Each piece should look fresh and firm, not watery. Next, line a baking tray with parchment paper and arrange the tomato pieces in a single layer. Make sure they're not touching each other. This is important. If they stick together while freezing, they'll lose shape and texture later. Once your tray is ready, place it flat in the freezer. Leave it for about 2 to 3 hours, or until the tomatoes are completely solid. This short, pre-freeze step locks in their shape and texture. It's the secret to avoiding mushy results later. After that, transfer your frozen tomatoes into labeled freezer bags or airtight containers. Press out as much air as you can before sealing. This helps prevent freezer burn and keeps the flavor locked in. Finally, lay your bags flat inside the freezer for easy stacking. It saves space, looks neat, and makes your frozen ingredients quick to grab whenever you need them. When it's time to use your frozen tomatoes, don't rush. How you thaw them makes a big difference. The key is to let them defrost slowly. That's how you keep the flavor, the color, and the texture balanced. If you're making sauces, soups, or stews, you don't even need to thaw them completely. Just take them straight from the freezer and drop them into your pan or pot. As they heat up, the ice melts away, and the tomatoes naturally blend into a smooth, flavorful base. But if you're planning to use them in salads or dishes that need a firmer texture, move the tomatoes to the fridge a few hours before cooking. Slow thawing helps them keep their shape and taste fresher. And here's a small bonus. If you want to peel them, you don't need boiling water. Once they're slightly thawed, the skin will slide off easily on its own. Once you try this method, you'll see how simple and convenient it is. No more waste, no more soggy results, just real natural tomato flavor whenever you need it. Let's do a quick recap. To freeze tomatoes without getting mushy, wash them, dry them completely, slice them, and pre-freeze on a tray before storing them in bags. That's the whole secret to firm, flavorful results every time. And here's a little bonus tip. If you freeze a few basil leaves together with your tomatoes, they'll keep their aroma and taste even better when you cook. It's a tiny trick, but it makes a big difference. With this simple method, you'll never waste fresh tomatoes again, and your dishes will always taste like summer. Now you know how to freeze tomatoes the smart way. No more soggy, wasted fruit. Just bright, fresh flavor waiting for your next meal anytime you want. It's a simple habit, but it makes a big difference in your kitchen. If you found this helpful, share it with someone who loves cooking or hates throwing food away. Because these small, practical tricks can help anyone save time, money, and freshness, all at once. And if you want more simple, science-backed freezing guides like this one, don't forget to subscribe and join the Freezelle community. Every week, we share calm, useful kitchen tips that help you make the most of what you already have. Because every frozen tomato means one less wasted one, and a kitchen that's always ready for something delicious.